Mercedes has revamped the entirety of its car, but unfortunately it hasn't brought the results the team desired in Silverstone. However, this doesn't mean that we're unlikely to see Hamilton or Russell fight for race wins as early as in Hungary, because what the team has announced for the upcoming race has brought smiles to the Silver Arrows fans for the first time after the double podium finish in Barcelona. With a brand new front wing to be introduced on a very demanding track, what is Mercedes' plan to again establish itself as the second fastest team? And is this the best chance to beat Verstappen with the new qualifying format? If there is one word that we could describe Mercedes with in 2023, it's inconsistency. As of now, the team was able to jump from a double podium finish in Barcelona to not even being close to the podium in Austria, while in Silverstone, the only reason Hamilton and Russell finished so far ahead was the safety car incident. On the soft tyres, Russell struggled to generate enough pass to get past Leclerc, who was on medium compound tyres in the first stint, and it just goes to show that whatever Mercedes brought to Silverstone, which was yet another massive upgrade package after Barcelona, it didn't seem to work. This upgrade package involved a new front wing as well, one that the team is looking to exploit even further in Hungary. But before we go into this part of our video, let's talk about the team that Mercedes will very likely fight on Saturday and Sunday for podium finishes: McLaren. Although the leap of the MCL 60 was very good, and many rivals have claimed that the Woking-based squad is already in the fight for the best team on the grid, not named Red Bull, Mercedes firmly believes that their customer company is yet to prove that they have what it takes to fight for podium finishes in Hungary. When talking about the recent surge of McLaren and whether or not they use them as an inspiration for the upcoming race, Wolff said, "Why it is exciting to see the McLaren bounce back is that you can within a season. Fair enough, they had much more wind tunnel time, but in any case, coming with upgrades which completely changed the performance of the car. We are not talking about 2/10 up and down, but we're talking about a second. And that's good for the sport, that if you do the right things and put things together. We've seen it with Aston Martin year to year, we've seen it with the McLaren now during the year. I like it. We need to see whether they can repeat that performance in Budapest, which is obviously the opposite and what you need. But this sport is about margin of gains, and if you have 20% more wind tunnel time allocation, we gain 2 seconds over a year. That means 4/10. Obviously, Budapest is a track that has very high downforce requirements on the car and is very narrow, which means that overtaking here is extremely difficult if it's not on the main straight of the track, something that Hamilton himself witnessed on his own back in 2021. Therefore, with Russell earning his first pole position here last year, and with how the Diva 2.0 has been acting lately in the past couple of races, is there any chance that we're going to see the W14 being improved in Hungary? This is something that James Allison, the old new technical director of the team, desperately believes in, and he thinks that the front wing that was originally introduced in Silverstone will have a massive impact on how the car will act on the Budapest track in the upcoming weekend. While there is technically no new upgrade waiting for Mercedes here in Budapest, a couple of tweaks on the already existing package and maybe some new modifications here and there, as hinted by Wolff during the previous couple of races, could be the winning formula for the Silver Arrows, just at a time when we thought they'd hit their lowest and had already lost focus on 2023. When talking about the new front wing and what the team expects from it in Hungary, James Allison was full of praise for the car's potential on one of the most legendary tracks on the grid, and he went on to say, "It's a bit too early to tell. The new front wing is of course designed to make us faster. That's why we do all our things. The specific characteristics of this new front wing that we are excited about is that it should improve the balance and performance of the car through the slower range of the corners. Now, Silverstone is famous for lots of things, but lots and lots of slow corners is not one of them. But I guess it will only be when we get to Hungary, which is a track made up almost entirely of slower stuff, that we'll get to know for sure. Early signs are promising, the new front wing seemed to do what we expected, and hopefully it will bring us more at tracks which we have a wider range of slow corners. Now, what the Silver Arrows need to be very wary of is the fact that McLaren is also bringing an upgrade package here in Hungary, which is something that shouldn't be undermined for any reason whatsoever. And although they're still giving their customer team enough credit, the general opinion in Brackley is that their setup is going to prevail as the winning one. If you were to ask anyone from Mercedes or McLaren, both of them would have the same answer as to why the MCL60 turned out to be the faster car in Silverstone: the medium and high-speed corners, and this is something that Norris himself has confirmed. But contrary to Silverstone, Mercedes will now meet a track that will have a very interesting mixture of slow corners, which is something that requires high downforce on the car. Yes, I know what's going through your mind right now. Didn't we see Mercedes struggle with their newest upgrade package in Monaco on these slow corners? But let's not fool ourselves, the nature of both tracks is nowhere near comparable. Although the medium and high-speed corner track of Barcelona proved to be a very easy task for the W14, the new upgrade package made it more difficult to drive in Silverstone, which is why Mercedes is now looking to bounce back in Hungary and is not giving up on the 2023 season just yet. Although we've been given hints by Wolff that the work on the 2024 version of the car could be already on its way, mostly thanks to the fact that they have no way of catching up to Red Bull in 2023, Hamilton has urged the team to go in another direction. What that means is that apart from Budapest, we're likely to see a very competitive Mercedes in the remainder of the season, because as Hamilton said, the W14 will serve as a very good foundation for the W15 in the upcoming campaign. And the team must not afford to make the same mistake as last year, give up on the car's development way too early in the season. When talking about this, the 7-time world champion went on to say, "It wouldn't be helpful for us to just stop working on this car and focus on next year's car. We've got to utilize the time we have on track to develop the car that we have and fix those problems. I'm confident we will get there. It's just a question of how long that will take." The optimism is definitely the best thing that could prevail in Mercedes right now, and the new qualifying format that will see daylight in Budapest has the potential of making either Hamilton or Russell the new pole sitters in 2023, apart from Leclerc, the only driver to secure a pole position outside of the Red Bull duo. Therefore, with everything in mind and how close the grid has been behind Verstappen, what should we expect from the newly upgraded Mercedes? Quite honestly, the car does have its own personality, and while Wolff's comments may have been viewed as giving up too early, it goes without saying that the team is yet to find out what works best on the car and what doesn't. Unfortunately, they don't have Niki Lauda to ask in the garage right now, but that does mean that one of the greatest minds in the F1 sport won't continue to work on bringing back the team where it belongs, the top scale of the podium, as Mercedes has bragged that there's been a constant influx of Red Bull staff towards Brackley, a process that Verstappen labelled as very threatening for his own team. With this in mind, and with how far Red Bull has gone in 2023, do you think that Mercedes has a legitimate chance of being the second fastest team in 2023 and squashing the hype that has arisen over McLaren? Let us know in the comments below.